Welcome to Sexy in Your 60s. This is a space for women 50 and beyond who are choosing to live with vitality, intention, and joy in this chapter of life and the ones ahead of us. I'm your host, Devora Citron, registered nurse, national board certified health and well-being coach, and Plant Strong advocate. As always, I'm keeping this podcast a little scrappy and very real, starting before everything is perfect, because the conversation is more important than the polish. We'll get there. This is Season 1, Episode 5, and today we're talking about something that sits at the very heart of vibrant living: authentic connection. I want to name something right away. I know the word connection gets used a lot. It can start to feel vague, overdone, or even a little performative. But what I'm talking about today isn't networking or social calendars or being busy with people. I'm talking about the kind of connection that helps you feel steadier in your body, safer in your nervous system, and more like yourself, especially during seasons that feel tender. Though you may be listening to this podcast at any month throughout the year, I'm releasing this episode right before Christmas intentionally. Because for many women, the holidays bring not just joy, but also loneliness, overwhelm, grief, or a quiet sense of disconnection that doesn't always get named. So let's talk about what real connection actually looks like and why it matters so much in this chapter of life. Let me ask you something gently. Have you ever felt lonely, even when you're surrounded by people, or emotionally unseen while still showing up for everybody else? Or tired of being the one that holds everything together? I have, so many times over so many years. And if you have, you're not alone. Women in midlife and beyond often experience deep shifts in their relationships. And those shifts affect not just emotional well-being, but physical health also. There's real science here. Loneliness has been shown to carry health risks comparable to smoking. It increases inflammation, disrupts sleep, raises stress hormones, and impacts immune and cardiovascular health. So this isn't a soft topic. Connection isn't just something we want. It's something we're wired for. And that wiring doesn't fade as we age. It actually becomes more important. I want to share something personal. For much of my adult life, I played the role of the caregiver. As a nurse, a mother, a daughter, a sister, a wife, a mother-in-law, and now I'm a grandmother. I was the listener, the one who remembered birthdays, the one who anticipated needs, the emotional anchor, the one who coordinated the holidays and the family gatherings and hosted them. And I value that part of myself. I love doing those things, and it's a great strength of mine. But over time, especially as my children grew up and left the home and became adults and started having their own families, but even before then, I began to notice something quietly missing. Well, the truth is, it's taken me years to notice it. I'm still noticing. And maybe at the beginning, the therapist I was seeing had to point out that my body was keeping score. I had built a life around caring for others, but I hadn't built the same kind of scaffolding for myself. My relationships were loving, but not always reciprocal. Not because the people in my life didn't care, but because I hadn't learned how to receive care. I certainly hadn't learned how to ask for it. When I began my coaching training, I saw how many women were carrying the same pattern, deeply connected to others, yet not deeply nourished by those connections. One of my biggest awakenings was this: connection is not just about giving. It's also about allowing yourself to be held. When I began letting relationships become more mutual, more honest, more supportive, something shifted. I felt less alone, more grounded, emotionally safer, more myself. And I'm still practicing this and working on it, and I probably will be my whole life. Learning how to create boundaries, not just for emotional safety, but for emotional freedom and for authentic connection. We never stop learning this, but hopefully we get better at practicing. We get wiser. Midlife brings transitions that reshape connection in powerful ways. Children leave home, parents age or pass away, marriages evolve and sometimes end. Friendships change, work identities shift, health challenges arise, new roles appear. Many women tell me quietly, "I didn't expect this. I feel invisible. I feel lonely even when I'm busy. My relationships don't feel the same." These feelings are common and valid, and they're not permanent. Here's an important distinction. You can be social and still feel disconnected. You can be busy and still feel alone. Being social is about proximity. Being connected is about being seen and feeling heard. Real connection sounds like, "I feel safe here. I can be honest. I don't have to perform. I can receive." This kind of connection steadies our nervous system. It restores emotional energy. It helps us feel alive and grounded. And after 50, it becomes essential. Authentic connection doesn't require a large circle. It requires presence, reciprocity, and self-awareness. Being fully with someone, present, letting yourself receive, knowing what nourishes you and what drains you. I hear women say, "I don't want to burden anyone." But being known is not a burden. Being supported is not a burden. Allowing someone to care for you is a gift to both of you. From a longevity perspective, this matters deeply. Research consistently shows that strong, meaningful relationships are one of the most reliable predictors of long life, emotional resilience, and cognitive health. This is as important as how we eat, how we move, or how we manage stress. Connection is real medicine. Inside my Sexy in Your 60s course, I often talk about tending different layers of connection: close, meaningful relationships, broader friendships, and community belonging. Women thrive when these layers are gently nourished, not all at once, not perfectly, but intentionally. And rebuilding connection doesn't require a big leap. It starts with one small action: sending a message, scheduling a walk, asking for help. letting someone show up for you, reaching out after distance. Small gestures reopen channels. There's one more layer of connection I want to name gently with sensitivity, and that's forgiveness. Not forgiveness as an obligation, not forgiveness as forgetting, and not forgiveness that requires reconnection. I'm talking about the kind of forgiveness that's really about you, about deciding what you're willing to keep carrying and what you're ready to set down and let go of. For some women, authentic connection begins with releasing an old hurt, not because it was small, but because continuing to hold it is exhausting. And for others, forgiveness is not the right step right now, and that's okay too. Connections ask for honesty, not pressure. And sometimes the most honest thing we can say is, I'm not there yet. So let's pause for a moment. If you're able to, place your hand on your heart and take one slow. Place your hand on your heart and take one slow breath. Ask yourself, who are one or two people in my life who help me feel more grounded, more myself, or more alive? And then ask, what's one small way I could nurture that connection this week? Connection grows through small, repeated acts of care. Before we close, a quick reminder. The information shared on this podcast is for educational and inspirational purposes only. It's not intended as medical advice and does not replace individualized care. Listening to this podcast does not create a client-provider, coaching, or therapeutic relationship. Please consult your own healthcare provider before making any changes to your health, nutrition, physical activity, or self-care routines. If you'd like support in reflecting on your own relationships and what nourishes you most, I've created a free resource called the Sexy in Your 60s Starter Guide. You'll find reflection prompts to help you identify meaningful connections and simple ways to feel more supported without overwhelm. You can download it via the link in the show notes or at slanttoplants.com/starter-guide. No matter what season it is for you right now, I want to remind you of this. Connection doesn't have to be loud, perfect, or constant to matter. You deserve relationships that nourish you. You deserve to feel supported and understood. You deserve to feel connected in ways that feel real and true. This is my last solo episode for a bit, and I'm so excited to begin sharing conversations with guests in the week ahead. Until next time, reach out gently, let yourself receive, and stay boldly, beautifully sexy, exactly as you are.